Yeah, I don't know. I like the whole like baby argument thing.
Mm-hmm.
If I legitimately think about it, I could never hurt a child.
Right.
You could tell me that this person's going to kill 6 million people regardless
Mm-hmm.
of if you try to change things, whatever.
But it's kind of like that same argument with the train derailment thing, right? Where if
like
you let
5
it
people
go,
and if you pull the trigger.
yeah, exactly. If you
the
pull it, you
lever,
kill one guy. If you don't, you kill a bunch of guys, right?
It's
By that
5
same
people,
token,
and then if you pull the lever, you kill one.
something like that, yeah.
There's 5 people. There's a train going, and this train is not going to stop.
Right. Yeah. So you know the analogy. So,
but if you pull this lever,
that's
it'll
right.
change tracks, but it kills one person.
Yeah. So the question is, like, if you don't kill the baby Hitler,
every day.
you pull that lever every day, right? But you would also know that the Hitler is gonna not only murder a bunch of children, he's gonna like torture and experiment on them.
He's still a child, though.
Yeah, but so are they. There's like millions of children as well that died because of Hitler. So if you're pulling the lever all day, why aren't you killing the baby Hitler? It's kind of like the same thing, no? It's just like you have
I would argue it's not the same thing though, because it's like
because it's a baby.
That whole argument. So I actually had to write a paper on that
Right.
whole 5 versus 1 pull the lever though.
Right.
If you don't do anything, technically you're not responsible for the death of those 5 people.
True.
Because you didn't do anything.
True.
That was happening, and that was going to happen regardless.
Yeah, but you chose to pull it anyway.
But if you choose to pull it, now you're responsible for one person's death.
But you said that you would always choose to pull it. Right?
I would pull it.
Yeah, so now by that same token, say if it was 5 people on the train track and the one guy is a baby instead of being a person, what would you do? Say it's 100 people.
I'm actually gonna lock that question in because that's a great fucking.
Right? So I don't think this whole it's a baby, so whatever. I don't know if that's like.
See, I'm 100% for if you haven't done anything wrong yet, you haven't done anything wrong yet.
Yeah, but neither did the one guy sitting on the train track. But you said you pull it all day.
Okay, so are these 5 other people all adults?
Yeah. So let's imagine it's 5 to 1 adults. You say you pull it all day, but let's say it's 5 to 1, but the 1 is a baby and the 5 are adults. You wouldn't pull the lever? It doesn't make sense, right? Increase the number. Say it's 100 guys on the train track and then 1 baby on the other side. You still not pull it?
I'm already picturing 1,000 and a baby, and I don't know.
The baby can't be that valued, right? Over 1,000 people.
We don't know yet.
I guess, but
I understand
what do you know about the 1,000 people? They could be like
it's like,
brilliant
do I have
people
any
themselves.
inside information? Do I know anything about these people?
Well, odds are there's a lot more brilliant people in that 1,000 group than there is in that one guy, right? No matter what happens. Unless it's like an Elon Musk baby or something, which is highly unlikely. Right?
5 and 1 for a baby. I keep the baby.
1,001 you kill the baby.
No, I said 5 to 1.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
1,000 to 1. And if I pull the lever, it saves 1,000 people. If I don't have to,
you don't have to watch
it.
Okay, yeah, you don't have to watch. You
But
don't
see,
even have
that's
to
not
be
some
there.
Shit that I think my conscience would be a lot more clear.
What if you were like some sort of like a train Overwatch person who sits in a command room somewhere to like air traffic control but for trains.
Yeah.
Say you're that person and you have these buttons at hand and you know exactly what's about to happen. So it kind of is your responsibility. You're no longer not doing anything. You're responsible for keeping people safe. Do you choose to move the train or do you let it keep ramming into 1,000 people? See, now I'm just making it tougher and tougher,
All right?
right?
What's yours?
I don't know, man. I hope I'm not an air traffic control person at any point.
Well, if you're an air traffic control person working a train, I can see some issues there. 1,000 people to 1. I know, obviously, the reasonable thing is obviously save 1,000 people, but I don't know, man.
What if it's like 1,000 scumbags? Like, let's say it's 1,000 people that were on a different.
They're not good people.
Let's say if there's 1,000 people that were just released from prison and they're on the train track versus one baby who was just born. But they were not necessarily like murderers. They're just in prison.
I'm going to say 2 things. It depends on the charges.
Yeah.
But if you tell me you line up 10,000 pedophiles or sex offenders.
Yeah.
I don't need a baby on the other side.
But I didn't say pedophiles. I
Well,
just said they're in jail. It could be like just drug possession or something.
Yeah, well, people are still in jail for fucking selling like.
This is kind of like you mentioned some Christopher Nolan movies, right? This is like if you remember Dark Knight where they had the boat and they had to blow each other up. Do you remember that?
I fucking love that.
Yeah. So everybody thought.
And then was it Morgan? No, Alfred. Eventually went like nobody deserves this type of power. And if you continue to keep this type of technology, I can't work for you.
But everybody thought that the prisoners would get blown up, right? But they didn't. And the prisoners also didn't blow up the other guys. So this is kind of like that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not probably a good enough person. I'd probably press that. But it ended up being like the button was for their own boats, right?
I don't know. They never blew it up.
I know that one of them threw it over.
Yeah.
But I think some point in the movie it ended up being like if they had pressed the button, it was for their own boat.
I don't think that was ever discussed. No. I just know if neither of them pulled it, the Joker blows both of them up. That's what I know.
So 1,000 people. Say that it's just random sample group of society.
Mm-hmm.
You have no fucking clue. It could be a millionaire, it could be a complete bum, it could be a junkie, it could be someone that works in 9 to 5.
Okay.
Say 1,000 people.
Versus one baby?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the baby dies. Why not kill the baby?
You pull the lever though?
Yeah, why not? You're in essence saving 1,000 people, right? Or 999 people, right? That's what you could say that I didn't act.
Yeah, well, it's 1,001. So either you're saving 1 or 1,000.
Yeah, but you could either say oh, I didn't do anything, so I wasn't responsible for any of it. But I don't think that always makes sense. Say you're on a sinking boat, or you see a sinking boat, right? And you have your own boat, and you're just driving by. Do you let all those people drown because it's not your responsibility? You wouldn't, right? You have a call to action. You're capable of doing something that can have a positive impact. Correct.
This might be the best ride I've ever had in my life. So, all right. What would your ratio be if it was?
I don't know, man. I think logically, there's no way to draw a line other than.
It's easy to be listen, I want to save more people.
Yeah. Again, I think the only logical way to say it is whichever one saves the most people. If it's 2 to 1, you still take the 2 over the 1. I think that's the only way you can logic. Because what else are you gonna do? You're gonna be 517. How do you?
No, but it's a numbers game for you. I'm just curious.
I don't know how else you would quantify your decision. How would you do it? Because you clearly said the 1,000 would live over the 5, right? You definitely were more.
I don't know.
You were a lot more inclined to pull the lever to save 1,000 people.
When it comes to children, babies, anything, the potential is.
It's what?
It's an unknown. It's a.
I guess,
variable.
But again, so is 1,000 people or 5 people. Think of it a number of years. Say that baby is gonna live a maximum of 90 years life, right? But those 5 people are in their 40s, so each one of them could live another, let's say, 40
so why
years.
are you not thinking about it as a numbers game in terms of years and age?
Because again, that's also a variable, right? That baby could have a life expectancy of 1 extra year from that point. You don't know.
Sure.
Right? You're just on a train.
If these people have already got 30, 40, 50 years,
yeah.
Why does that one child not deserve the chance to have that?
Because the collective age that the 5 people have left is a lot more, right? If each one of these guys on the train track, the group.
So you would take away
90 years from one person versus 50 years from 5 different people, which is 250 overall. I think that makes sense.
If it's a child that's never had the chance to actually live, it never got to, go to high school, never got to have a crush, it never got to...
Well, if you want to think of it that way, I just think of that this baby doesn't
You're
have...
looking at it as variable.
No one's going to miss him anyway, because he hasn't had any of those things that you just said, right?
But those people have got to do it.
Yeah, but those 5 people on the track probably have children, they have people to take care of, they have...
Alright, quick question, gun to your head. You and some randy baby in front of you, you get to pick who dies.
Me versus a baby?
Yeah.
I think I kill the baby, right? Why would I kill myself? Where's the baby gonna go?
Okay, that's a self-preservation thing. Have you ever heard that, I don't remember the actual term of the theory, but it's like how it's survival of the fittest essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like when you have kids,
Right.
your fleeting moments will always be of your children because you are unable, like, you know, we're all meant to fucking strive and live and, you know, last as long as we can.
Okay.
As, like, biologically, we're programmed that way. However, there's something that even, like, in, like, you know, we can go 2 degrees. Useless, don't get me wrong, I sell appliances now. But there's the theory that as much as we're all selfish creatures and we want to survive and live and, you know, personal and self-preservation,
Mm-hmm.
when you have children, there's
Mhm.
an unexplained reason why you want your children to survive now.
I don't
like-
think it's that unexplained. I think it's perfectly explained, right? The
Well,
whole
you
essence
pass
of
your seed on, and
Exactly.
you want your seed to
right.
like exist.
But the situation you gave me was me versus the baby. It wasn't
Yeah.
my baby, right? So I don't think the same thing would apply. I think it would be a lot easier for me to shoot a random baby than my own baby, right?
Jesus, I said the gun to your head. I didn't even say you were going to shoot anyone.
Well, I'm assuming like the gun is to my head, but if I choose the baby, the gun moves to his head, right? Like, it's the same thing as me shooting. I don't think it makes much of a difference if I shoot the baby or the guy holding the gun is gonna shoot him, right? In essence, you're the one choosing who dies.
All right, here's a really good question then. You're the one that needs, like, when it comes to the train, pull
Mhm.
the lever, right?
Right.
You're the one. There's 1,000 people on the other side. It's gonna kill those 1,000 people, but if you pull the lever, it kills you.
That's a good question.
Can I vape out of your window?
Yeah, if you want.
Sorry, I don't mean
It's
to.
all good. I mean, this conversation is getting too heated. You need a breather, right? So.
1,000 people if you do nothing, but you're the one.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know, man. Probably like I just kill myself. But at that moment,
That's
like,
actually the other fucking really dark aspect of it. You're
Yeah.
committing suicide.
but like again, it's the same thing, right? Like, or are we just talking about a numbers game, or do you have some sort of personal like I want to see what happens in this world, and fuck those other people? I don't even know them, or is it like how do you think about that situation? And I think like until you're in that moment, I don't think you're gonna be able to like think about that as deeply as maybe just the 1 versus 5
Are
random.
you trying to wiggle your way out of this answer?
No, I'm not. I'm just I know that your emotions would be different had it been you're gonna die within the next 5 minutes versus you're choosing who dies between those sets of people, right? Like, take
1,000 people.
yeah.
Trains running over them.
Mhm.
You're on the other side of the train tracks. You have the lever. If you pull the lever, only you die. If you don't pull
Yeah,
the lever,
again, like I think
1,000
like
people die.
if I had to choose right now, I'd probably say I'd pull the lever and kill myself. But at the same time, I don't know if I would go with that same answer had I been in that situation. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, in my mind, I'm like, and I'm assuming if I'm in the situation, it's nice to say that, oh yeah, like absolutely, I'd let the 1,000 people live.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm like,
Fuck them, right?
well, I don't fucking know. Like I like being alive.
Yeah. And it goes back to the whole inaction thing, right? Like, it's not like I brought this situation upon these 1,000 people, right? They got here somehow without my...
Actually, you know what? You know what's a better way to phrase that question? You're the one that the train's gonna run over.
Or you could pull it
And
and,
then
give
if
it
you
to
pull
the
the lever,
1,000 people.
Then it kills 1,000 people.
Again, I don't know.
That's a better way of phrasing that.
I don't know. I think like in the moment, you're more likely to pull it to hit those 1,000 people in the moment than you are now. I think that's the I don't know what the likeliness are. I
See,
just
I
know
would
that
like to believe that I'm a good enough person or
right.
that well of a person that. I'd
But
be
you
like,
wouldn't
well,
know
it's more
until you're in
people
that situation.
But at the same time, I'm like also like, well, I don't want to die.
Right. It's weird, man. It is a weird thing.
I don't know if you need to get back to work, but I feel like you need to spit out a question. I feel like I shot out a few good conversations there.
I don't know. I think we have a pretty long clip already, but
All right, I can get out.
if you think of another question you want to shoot at me, go for it. But I don't have
There was
anything on my
another
mind
one that was
specifically.
really freaking good, like that I read on Reddit, and I'm trying to remember it because I remember it being a brain stomper.
How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck Norris? I think we might have to leave it at that, man.
All
Until
right,
you
sorry,
know.
man. I'll let you get back to work.
All right,
This
no
was
worries.
fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Make sure to follow the channel.
I already did.
All right. Take care, man.